All right, y'all. It's 8:23 p.m. I'm headed back to my house. Monday Fun Day with Squid and the Bear has already happened, and that's the video you're about to see. And I just wanted to give you guys a little, precursor, heads up, whatever you want to call it. Usually we have a real good time on Mondays, and we had a real good time this Monday as well. I just want to let y'all know, if you're not into spirituality, this might not be the episode for you. This is a long talk with Squid and I. You will see about an hour's worth of footage of us just talking, sitting on the back porch, enjoying an adult beverage, and just talking. And we go some places that we wouldn't normally go. There's some hard truths in this video. There's some confessions in this video. And we talk about God, Father God, and we talk about His calling on our lives as we understand it to the best of our ability with our human stupidity. And I know not everybody's into that. So if that's not your thing, please just move along. Please just watch the next video. If that is your thing, or if you're curious about a little bit of backstory for myself and Squid, and where did we come from? How did we get here? What's the deal? What do we believe theologically? We touch on a lot of those different things in the footage you're about to see. So bless y'all. Thank you guys for being here. We do not take you guys for granted. I am humbled that there's 1,340 some people that would even kind of care about what we have to say. So without further ado, welcome to Monday Fun Day with Squid and the Bear. Please be blessed, and I hope this video finds y'all in good health and good spirits. I'm going to bed. I'll talk to y'all later. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Squid.
You're welcome.
Oh, what are these? Begonias?
I don't know.
That's the first flower word that I knew.
That's teacher appreciation class.
I'm not a teacher.
Sure you are. You too.
A purveyor of teaching. Good word, Squid. Thank you, Mrs. Squid. These are beautiful. I will put them on my mantelpiece.
Okay.
Thank you.
All my vases.
Beautiful vases.
Beautiful vases.
Hand-turned wooden vases.
Maple vases.
We're not putting your feet on the internet. There's weirdos out there. You do not want to do that.
Yeah.
Believe me, you do not want to do that.
They don't want to see that.
You don't know. They do want to see that. That's the thing. Mrs. Squid believes she has Prager's feet. She just gave me a thumbs up.
There's no believes.
Shh.
I have to agree.
You don't want to go there. We have the best intros here on Monday Fun Day. I don't know. Yes, you're pregnant. Yes, your feet are marshmallowish.
That's all I ask you to do.
I agree. Yes, you have marshmallow feet. Squid? Do you agree? Okay. Is he going to get in trouble later for agreeing? Is this a double-edged sword? Are you sure? We have video documentation.
He is not going to get in trouble.
Okay.
The only thing he'll get in trouble for is forgetting my birthday this Friday and forgetting Mother's Day on Sunday.
That won't happen because there's 1,300 idiots, wonderful people that will remind him Friday and Sunday, don't mess up. Run, boy, run. Ah. Bye, Mrs. Squid. Thank you for the flowers. They're wonderful. They smell delicious. They remind me of springtime in France.
We don't have spring in Texas.
In France.
France.
In France, not Texas. There's no spring in Texas.
Put those in your
5th century Ming Dynasty vase.
This vase used to hold the remains of Emperor Mao.
Now he just fertilizes the flowers.
There is a point to this video. I don't know what it is. So,
Lessons from unlikely sources,
lessons from unlikely sources,
and then a segue into humility.
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 And we should probably just address the fact now that
Yes.
we're not wearing overalls.
Yet.
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 So, I'm a bear-sized man. Would you agree?
Yes.
Not a man-sized bear. A bear-sized man.
Though I wish you'd have sent me a picture so I could have made the call.
So, we may or may not have on our lunch break gone to the overall store. And I got the largest overall size that they had, which was 2 sizes above what I would normally wear for overalls. And they are made in China. So it was 3 sizes too small. So this thing didn't even cover my nipples. And not covering my nipples. Remember, it's got the front flap and everything. Not covering my nipples, I had a male camel toe. And it was so far up my rear end. If I moved an inch this way or an inch this way, it would have just split. And we did.
We owe you. It will happen.
Yeah. And we did promise to wear nothing but overalls. And I didn't want to do that to y'all. So I feel like now you guys think I'm huge too. And I'm not.
No.
I'm self-conscious now.
No.
So squid.
No.
So it's coming. It's coming. It's happening.
It will happen.
So, in exchange for not having overalls, there's a giveaway.
There's a giveaway.
There's a giveaway.
Yep.
There's a giveaway.
So my Monday morning was greeted with, at the shop, was greeted with, yeah, I went to the surplus store again. And the guy's like, hey, you forgot this box. And then DJ said something like, I don't know how we would have gotten by without this. Literally, it's an entire box. So
Full of ball hangers. A whole case of ball hangers.
So the giveaway will be that and a really, really crappily made ooh-la.
Ooh-lao. Ooh-lao.
Oh,
Official organization of
Sure.
operators operating organizationally like an operator.
the person who will get it, is the first one to comment what book we read tonight.
You got to comment on the book that we read. You have to share this video or one of our other videos. And you have to email me at November Tango X-Ray Mike Alpha, what's G?
Golf.
Golf, thank you. I always forget that. ntxmag@gmail.com and let me know, hey, I did it. I did it. Commented, shared the video, and you got to let us know what book we read in the video, okay? Because we're stupid. But look, we signed this. See that? It says Squid and the Bear on it, and we will support your balls. All right, Dad, read to me.
All right. Well, we're not going to read it first. So, you talk about kind of keeping your blinders open
Right.
and being able to see everything that's happening around you. But I'll share a story with you about. I was in a Bible study with my neighbor, who's a real good friend. He's a long gun shooter, does competitions, and we just had this pause during. And this is a while ago, but we had this pause, and he's like, and I won't use any names, but he goes, this weekend we were at church, and the 2 kids had birthday parties to go to, and my middle son didn't have anything to go to, so we took separate cars. And so I planned on bringing him to the golf course and go golfing and have, just a fun time. And so when we were leaving church, he completely is breaking down, right? He's upset. He just, nothing is right. And, I keep telling him, I'm like, hey, listen, if you would just trust me, everything will be okay. Like, just listen. I'm telling you, it's going to be fun. And he said, in that moment, I turned and looked at my kid, and it finally hit me. Like, the Father's saying the same thing to us.
Yep.
If you would just trust me, it's going to be okay. If you would just listen, it's going to be fun. And so, we're getting lessons from if you have children, you should be learning lessons all the time about patience, about humility. Just, they're a wealth of a resource to think about. It's a profound statement to where he sat there and went, the Father is saying this to me all the time.
Yep.
And what that leads me to is things like, and I'll tell you, I've lost a couple children in the last couple of years, and so it's caused me to change my lens. And one of the things that I've really come down to is how much inconsequential stuff that I used to give a crap about,
Yep.
that I shouldn't even give a second to. The jerk who pulls out in front of you when they know you're going to have to slam your brakes on, and it makes you angry, or traffic, or somebody's incompetence in the store in line. All these things, and it's like, you know what? Does this really matter in the big scheme of things? Like, it makes no difference. And how much are we raising our blood pressure and our stress and everything else by this stuff that doesn't matter?
Yep.
I just started with the shop for a few months now, and it was a huge decision because it was a significant pay cut that I was taking to come in and help run operations. And what's funny is that paycheck to paycheck, I actually feel like now we have more money than I did before.
Yep.
And it's because we cut out all the BS, like all the crap that didn't matter. And now it's like, wow, why do we have this much money left and I'm already about to get paid again? It doesn't make any sense, like no sense whatsoever. But so that's kind of my storytelling on, what are you paying attention to? Like, and is it worth it? I think you have to ask yourself that question. And especially, if you're into preparedness, like, you need to be asking yourself that question in what you're doing in your garden or farm, what you're doing in your vineyard, in your orchard. And I got to places where I thought I could do things better than I guess God could by growing things. And I had a bumpkiss crop, nothing, of peaches last year. I think I had 4. And I pruned those trees perfectly, the way the book says it and everything. This year I didn't touch it. I don't think you can see it from there, but
Yep.
I can't even count how many peaches are on that tree. Were you eating mint?
Grass.
Yeah, that's grass. You can eat that. That's edible. But anyway, we're going to do a little... Oh, I didn't put it under there. Duh.
Oh,
We're going to do a little bit of reading. People think I'm joking, but if you want to get a series of books for your kids, this is an awesome series, and there are great lessons in this.
yeah.
Hey guys, you want me to read this to you? You want to hear Pete the Cat? All right. This is Pete the Cat, and I'll even use my voices that I use when the boys go to bed.
Do it.
Pete the Cat and his 4 groovy buttons. All right. Pete the Cat put on his favorite shirt with 4 big, colorful, round, groovy buttons. He loved his buttons so much.
I hate you.
Stop. He sang this song. My buttons, my buttons, my 4 groovy buttons. My buttons, my buttons, my 4 groovy buttons. Pop! Oh no! One of the buttons popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left?
3!
4 minus 1 equals 3. Did Pete cry?
No!
Goodness, no. Buttons come and buttons go. My buttons, my 3 groovy buttons. My buttons, my buttons.
No, he has 5.
My
actually.
3 groovy buttons.
No, he has 5.
Pop! Oh no, another button popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left?
Count. 3?
2.
3 because
3 minus 1 equals
2.
2. Did Pete cry?
No!
Goodness, no. Buttons come and buttons go. He kept on singing his song. My buttons, my 2 groovy buttons. My buttons, my 2
It's
groovy
supposed to have 3.
buttons.
He has 3. He
Pop.
has 2 now.
Pop!
Because
Oh no. Another button popped off
Ice
and
cream.
rolled away. How many buttons are left?
1.
1. 2 minus 1 equals 1. Did Pete cry?
No.
Goodness, no. Buttons come and buttons go. He kept singing his song. My button, my 1 groovy button. My button, my 1 groovy button. Pop! Oh no! The last button popped off and rolled away.
No, he has 1 more.
How many buttons are left?
1.
0.
No, there's 1.
Hold on. 1 minus 1 equals 0. Did Pete cry?
Yeah!
Goodness, no. Buttons come and buttons go. Pete looked down at his buttonless shirt, and what do you think he saw?
His belly button!
His belly button! And he kept on singing his song. My button, still have my belly button. My button, still have my belly button. I guess it simply goes to show that stuff will come and stuff will go. But do we cry?
No.
Goodness, no. We
No.
keep on singing.
I saw your song.
Buttons come and buttons
Buttons
go.
Okay.
And that is Pete the cat, who is an extremely wise cat. Has a series of
He's
books.
not a wise cat!
Go, all right, go, guys.
No, I'll never. See you later.
Go.
He's on
Wise cat, series of books, all messages like that. But it's just to point out that there are signs in unlikely places
Yeah.
to where you can take a message, and if you're listening and you're looking at the signs and you're allowing yourself to see them, I believe God talks to you in signs all the time, and more so in the last little over 2 years than ever have I seen absolute signs in my life through everything I've been through.
Yep.
And it's not a matter of if the sign's there. It's a matter of, are you going to look for it?
Eyes to see and ears to hear.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So that's the lesson in unlikely places, where you could find things that can help you day to day.
You know, I was on a ladder one time. I don't paint.
Ladders usually don't fit underneath him.
Don't make me smack you right after we get done talking about God. So, I was on a ladder one time, 12-foot ceilings. I was painting crown molding that I had just hung in this house that we were working on. And it was Friday evening, and I was the only one there. Big house, 6-ish thousand square feet.
I remember you telling me about this.
And I was in the master bath, and I was on a 12-foot ladder, and the ladder fit under the ceiling, so maybe it was a 13-foot ceiling, a 14-foot ceiling, but it was up there. And my wife, Harmony, has a genetic heart defect that we just found out about. And I was bumming. That's probably not a good place to disrobe, son. The entire internet is Thank you, Mrs. Squid. Just breathe. It will be okay.
That's all right. There's times where I look over and all I see is bare butt facing the tree because he's taking a leak.
We got that a couple times earlier, but that was from the younger one.
Yes.
So,
Hey, Squid Man.
Get out of here.
Come on, let's go. Inside.
run along, boy. So I'm up on this ladder,
Don't
and
make me waterboard you.
it's not waterboarding if you use diesel.
That's
So,
true.
and so Harmony had just gotten sick, and she was bedridden, and I had 3 ongoing projects to do by myself, and I was miserable.
Well, I think it's good to note too that you and her, I mean, she's as good as a carpenter as probably any man.
Oh, I'd take her over 3 normal
Yeah,
men
and
any
so-
day of the week.
When you're talking projects,
Yeah.
she was a part of doing the project as well, not just the design.
Absolutely. Yeah,
It's important.
it wasn't just that, like, oh no, my wife's sick, which is enough, but it was, oh no, I'm down the capacity of 3 normal men. She taught me how to cut crown. I can cut crown. I learned from her, and her father was a master carpenter who taught her how to cut crown. So, like, she's a totally BA woman, right? So, and because she's so BA, for her to be bedridden was like, I didn't know what was going on. And it scared me. I don't get scared easily. I told you guys I have one weakness, one exposure, the health and well-being of my family. And so, you know, other than that, I'm invincible. Well, I was not invincible at this moment. And I'm in this master bathroom up on this ladder, painting crown. I hate painting. I'm colorblind. I hate painting. And I got a brush and I'm cutting in the crown. And I just had enough. I remember looking up and I was like, all right, this is a bunch of bull. You know what, God? This is a bunch of bull. Fairy tales. I'm just telling myself this just to feel good about myself. You know, how could you do this to me? How could you do this to her? Yada, 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 right? And that ladder got kicked 3 feet from here, and it was like somebody kicked it. Now I'm up on the top of the ladder, and I got a paintbrush in one hand, gallon of paint in the other. And I about lost it. I mean, fell off the ladder and hold on, and gathered up all my stuff and caught my breath, and I instantly got pissed because I knew there was somebody in this house that had kicked my ladder. And I went room by room in this house, found nobody. I went out the driveway. I looked. There's nobody there, no other vehicles. I stalked that entire house, livid, ready to do violence on somebody. There's nobody there. And I walked back in that master bathroom, looked all the way up that ladder to the ceiling and said, all right, I will never doubt you again. And I say all that to say this. I do believe that God speaks to us in languages we can understand. And so for some of us, it may be signs. For those of us with thick heads, sometimes you need to get your ladder kicked. He will speak to you in ways you understand. There are messages all around you. And if you have, you know, eyes to see and ears to hear, you'll get it. What the hell were we talking about?
Let's
Pete
start.
the cat.
Beat the cat.
Beat the
Wise cat.
Wise cat.
Wise cat. Well, we're going to talk humility now.
Humility.
And I'm going to get you a blue beverage.
Blue?
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 Not that you know it's blue.
Stand by. Okay, we're live again. I was just saying to Squid, I do wonder at the plans of the Father that he, in his brilliant wisdom, that we don't have eyes to see, saw it fit to bring these 2 idiots together to do this.
And it's...
And I say idiot in all love.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Oh, I just got back and I'm like, when did I get my knee wet? And I'm like, urine?
Urine?
Could be.
Maybe. Probably.
But no, I mean, if you look at our backgrounds,
Yeah.
there's no reasonable way that we should even be associates rather than
Associates.
very good friends.
This is my associate.
This is my associate bear. I mean, really, you know, and it's not,
Yeah.
you know, but one of the things I've tried to always live my life to is that, you know, and I did this in my consulting time before I started at the shop, but was that, you know, I'm no better than anybody else. And I tried to live my life that way. As a consultant for senior government officials, you know, I tried to relay that fact too, that, you know, I'm no better than, you know, there's no one better than even the janitor.
Correct.
There's actually a story that I used to tell to clients about a janitor who worked for a very, very big company, and he had an idea for a product, and finally at some point got an opportunity to get in front of an executive, and he got in front of this executive and shared this recipe for the product, and they loved it, and they put it, you know, and they put it in production. It's Flaming Hot Cheetos.
Yeah.
It's the janitor, right? And so I always say, you know, you're no better than the janitor, or you know, everybody has an idea or the next grand thing. It's whether or not they're being listened to, whether or not you take into account. I mean, we joke about this between the two of us. He calls me STEM for my master's degree. But again, going back to backgrounds, like a retired naval officer, you know, I have a STEM degree,
STEM.
master's degree.
STEM. Drink, he said STEM.
STEM. I was consulting to 4-star generals up until I decided to resign my position. I mean, backgrounds where I should not even know each other.
We ran in different circles.
Yeah.
And have done wildly different things that in some cases were vaguely similar, but I think rather than the things themselves, like the particulars of the situation, what you and I have in common is experiential expertise. You've gone and done and made things happen, and I've gone and done and made things happen, and, you know, those two things, like, what's special about me and what's special about Squid is not necessarily the same things, but we get each other, right? Like, I get you.
Yeah.
I can look at you from across the shop 100 feet away and go, I know what you're thinking. The other day I
said it.
Dude,
I said it to you.
The other day I was singing some song and you're like, why are you singing that song? I don't know. I was in my head. You're like, I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
It's weird, right? It's weird. But so watch this masterful thing. Dovetailing back into the humility thing,
Yes.
right? Being present and being available to do the work of the Father to the best of your ability. Like, maybe you're some weird guy on the internet, or two weird guys on the internet with beards
I could
and cool hats.
I could have completely been this jackass making 6 figures,
Yep.
you know, high 6 figures. Wouldn't have the time of day for
Yep.
somebody with, well, yeah, them damn tattoos.
Ah, yeah, you gotta watch them people.
Somebody with tattoos all over themselves. You know, but it's being open. I mean, I actually love this story. So I flew a lot. I traveled a lot, and got on the plane, and I always got early boarding because I was flying so much for years, and full plane. And for some reason, like, the last seat left was the middle seat by me, and I'm like, yes. Like, everyone else has to sit by somebody. I did it. And then this huge black guy comes walking on the plane, right? Just chubby guy. And he sits down and just apologetic. Like, I'm so sorry. I mean, and this is like the 5:20 flight.
Right.
Terrible already. And I usually would sleep on my way to the client. And he sits down, he's apologetic. And we just start chatting. And he starts telling me how he's a 911 operator. He lives in Dallas, but his family's in St. Louis. He just had a kid. The kid's been in NICU because it was born early at 26 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's just instant connection. We start talking about both my sons that were stillborn, and I just started going into this whole how people don't know what to say sometimes.
Yep.
And they're trying to be helpful, and I know they're being helpful, but they just say stupid crap. Like God has a plan. Like that wasn't God's plan. This is a bad place, and bad things happen to us.
Yeah.
And did he know about it? Absolutely. And it's just, this conversation between the two of us, who I would have never talked to this guy in 100 times of meeting.
Yep.
That both of us back and forth about that whole experience, and his daughter's fight and what happened to us and how it relates. And it just, and then we parted ways.
Yep.
When the flight landed, and that was it. But I think those moments are presented to you, and if you're not humble in not only what you do and what you say, you'll not have those moments, because you'll think you're too good for it, and you will turn away from it, rather than ending up having something that is more meaningful to me. That moment with a stranger is more meaningful to me than most interactions I have with acquaintances. And I have this many friends. It's a rule. I only have this many friends, actual friends, at any one time. Sometimes it's like this, or this, or this. But I have no more than these many people who I could go to on a moment's notice and know that they would be there no matter what. I got a buddy of mine that we maybe talk once a year, and you'd think we'd talk the day before, because, and he's still active.
Yep.
Again, I won't say any names, but he's still active and probably getting ready to retire too, and he's coming back here to Texas, so hopefully he's going to come around where we're at, which would be awesome. But, being humble in whether it's a talent or whether it's, how much fiat currency you can make, or
Right.
whether...
Look at all the fakeness I earned today.
Yeah.
Okay, cool purchasing power, bro.
Or the debt you put yourself in to look rich.
Oh, amen.
That's rampant, and all you're doing is becoming a slave.
Well, especially in this area.
Oh,
dude, it's...
North Texas, out where we're at here. This is... all the businesses and growth and headquarters that are coming into North Dallas, which is about 30 minutes away, all those people and companies are moving in up here. And it's funny, Laura has friends who are living in an actual, you can touch your neighbor's house from your house type of neighborhood. Not like this, where we got, at least an acre. And they'll comment, "Oh, country living." And I'm like, "Whoa, you got a burger joint you can walk to from your neighborhood. It's not country."
What country are you living in, man?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like some of those houses down in Dallas we work in, offered at $2.895 million. Offered, as if you're doing me a favor by charging me almost $3 million. I took my tape out and measured 9 feet in between houses. 9 feet.
$3 million home.
Well, 2.895. 105 shy. Yeah, it's a bargain. And the lot's 7,500 square feet.
Yeah.
The lot. And the house is 4,500 square feet. So you got 3,000 square foot of lot / driveway. And there's not even real grass in it. They put AstroTurf down so you don't have to worry about mowing it. And it's this is the art of fakery.
Well, and I would even say, in our business.
Yeah.
Guys getting $8,000 bar tops.
Mm-hmm.
Out of live wood pecan slabs.
Yeah.
again, do you really need that?
No.
You know, and are you really paying for it in cash, fiat cash?
Well, yeah.
And you know, the thing is like if you would come into one of our houses and we wanted something like that, yeah, we could make it for way cheap, so it makes sense,
Right. But see, that's respectable too. Like you walk into somebody's house, you're like, dude, like whatever, fill in the blank. That's sick.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that? And the guy's like, made it myself.
Yep.
You're like, awesome. I want to buy you a beer. Awesome, you know. And but the opposite side of that is, I paid $8,000 for that.
And that's what happens more often than not.
Yeah,
And that it's a show me off piece.
Bragging rights.
Yep.
And don't misunderstand. Like I think capitalism is incredible. I'm a huge fan of capitalism. Like, you know, Squid was out there on the road making buku bucks. I was out on the road making buku bucks. And, you know, it's like you said, man, I was miserable. Like, oh my gosh, I was a terrible human being. Terrible human. I had a drinking problem.
Yep.
I did coke.
Well,
like
drinking.
No, I mean like
Relative.
problem. Like I handle a Jim Beam and a case of this every night. Every night. No, I'm not even kidding.
Ow.
Every night. And then on some nights it was like, you know what? Let's go get, quarter ounce of blow too.
Yeah.
And I'm not even kidding. Like, this is not an exaggeration. And I made tons of money. Like, literally, hey, let's cover your back porch a foot thick in $100 bills. Okay.
Yeah.
Miserable. I didn't even have a life. I was a slave,
Well,
dude.
for me, it was making all that money, and it was like I didn't have any money.
Oh, you find stuff to spend it on, too.
Like, it was just, and that's what blows me away now. I mean, I'm making a fourth of what I used to make.
Amen, brother.
Yeah. And we literally have plenty.
Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And part of that, I was nervous. Part of that was putting my trust in God, saying, I know you're going to take care of us.
Yep.
Like, if you just trust me, it'll be okay.
Right. Right.
It's going to be fun.
We have some pretty cool testimony. You know that?
I know we do.
One day, maybe we'll do like some super like high production value where like we hang a sheet from the back. We get like a lamp. Basically, I'll interrogate you.
Okay.
I'll strap you to a board and that would probably not be good.
Please use water instead of diesel.
No. I'm fine with it. We'll use
But, I mean,
Cabernet.
you know, I think both the subjects roll into each other really well because, you know, without humility, and I approach anybody nowadays, no matter what they look like, no matter what they say, I try to let myself be led
Yep.
to those people versus me saying, quick story, like, of course we all have, vices that we do, but went to dinner with some friends in a city where I was working a client, and they had video gaming, in the restaurants and stuff, and so I was like, I'm just going back to the hotel. I didn't have any work to do, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna kill some time, throw $20 in or whatever. And I'm putting like $220. And it's like I never have cash on me. Like I never have any cash on me whatsoever. And so I'm crossing the river over the city I'm in. And every time I've drove this route, at the same spot, there's this one homeless guy. And like he's picked the most terrible spot to be in to get any money. Like literally, like low traffic area.
Right.
Like dude, like let me consult to you and tell you where to go. I literally like pull up and the light's red, and I'm like, I never have cash on me anyway. So I take it all out of my wallet and I hand it to him.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was like I was told. I know I was told to do it. But I think, that's, again, the listening. having your ears open, having your eyes open. One of the things I used to use all the time when counseling or mentoring people is, asking them, are you listening or are you thinking of what to say next?
Yes.
Right?
Forming arguments in your brain for what the other person is saying.
Because if you're thinking about what you're saying next, you're not listening to what they're saying. But humility, yeah.
I think a lot of people, especially when we pray, it's, I'll say on my behalf and from talking with other people that I've counseled with, will just run through the itinerary of, Father God, bless me for blah, 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 and Jenny's baby, and blah, and yada, 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 bang, 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 bang. And we pray like these bullet point prayers of intercession, almost as if it's an incantation.
And there's nothing wrong with praying in specifics.
No,
you should.
Praying in specifics is good.
Your itemized list.
I agree, but I do believe that intent, right, like your actions should follow your intent, right? You should make your actions match your intent. But I think when you pray, there's levels that you can get at, right? There's like surface level, and there's kind of like that intermediate level where you're half in the world, half out of the world.
Great example. So,
well, I was going to go there, but go ahead.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
No, great example, but all right, babe. Great example, but I think a lot of people misunderstand the Lord's Prayer.
I agree. They think it's an incantation, and it's an example.
Pray like this.
Right.
Right. Be thankful to God.
Right.
It's not recite this word by word.
Correct.
It's going through it and saying, all right, I'm going to, say something about like God, just give me what I need.
Right.
Just give me what I need
Yep.
to eat. Give me what I need to survive, and thank you. And it's not. I've taught my children. They recite the Lord's Prayer, but at their age, I'm teaching them the context
Right.
of how you should pray.
Right.
So anyway,
Well, good job, man.
thanks.
You're welcome. You're pretty cool and stuff.
No,
I know.
kind of an idiot.
Yeah, welcome to the club.
You like garlic?
Garlic is gorgeous. You make nice garlic. But with prayer, right? A lot of people bullet point prayer. And when that's okay. Like, don't misunderstand me. If you're in a hurry, right? There's nothing wrong with communing with your Creator on a budget. Just don't let it be the only communication that you have with Father God, right?
It's one of the things I'm trying to work on hard. I have a hard time just talking to God.
That's what I was going to get at, is
we talk.
Right.
I have a hard time with that.
And I, just through the grace and blessing of the Father, have gotten there in the last year where I can go there like that. And, I mean, you hear me pray at the shop in the morning. Dude, my prayers do not sound like what they pray at church, right? It's like sitting here talking to you. And that's not bragging rights. It's just like I've just gotten that comfortability. But what I'm trying to say is we as people, as followers, need to do a better job of coming into communion with God, sitting there, opening up our ears, and okay, I'm here, God, talk to me. Now what? And like we were saying before, is he talks to you in languages you can understand. Because I'll give you a great example of this. I do a lot of praying in the truck, believe it or not. This is like the only time I have to myself. And I was driving home one day, and I have a buddy whose name I won't mention, but he lives like 4 blocks from me in town. And God was like, you need to go see him. You need to go see him. I'm like, 10-4, I'll go see him. So I pulled up to his house. His work truck was there. He happened to be home. Knock on his door. he answers the door, and he just looks at me, and I could tell, man, he's broken. And he's like, "What are you doing?" I don't know. God told me I need to come see you. And he had this huge burden on him. And he stepped out of his front door, stood on his front stoop, and I hugged him, grown man, and he cried on my shoulder for 5 minutes. And he was like, "Where you been?" You know, a dude totally convicted me. Because he's like, "You live 4 blocks away." I know. "Well, why are you here now?" "Because God smacked me in the back of the head and was like, go. Go talk to your brother." And he was there, man.
Yeah.
He was about to break. And it's those, this is not bragging on me, right? It's not bragging on you. It's bragging on the Father and what he does. But it's that being available, showing up and being available thing that I think a lot of us miss.
Well, and the being available thing is about, and I said this in our men's group meeting. I'm going to pick my nose. I don't
You
care.
got me all choked up. It's cool.
All right.
Nobody cares.
I'm going to...
Nobody watches these things anyway.
I sat in men's group, and we're about to do this weeks-long ministry thing, and, one of the comments that one of the leaders made was, not our pastor, but one of the worship leaders. He said, "I know everybody's busy, but we're going to try to do the blah, 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 blah." And I sat there, and, it was burning on me.
Yeah.
Finally, I raised my hand, and I said, "Are we really busy?
Right.
Or..."
Are we fake busy?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because, I'm sorry, there's not many people who are truly very busy. I mean, I at one point in my career was running 6 Priority 1 worldwide missions that were going into the Presidential Daily Brief
PDB.
very often, right? And
Almost as good as PBJ. Just saying.
I went into work one time. I got calls a lot,
Yep.
but I empowered and trusted my people to do what they needed to do. I went into work one time, and it's something serious had happened. But I don't even know where the hell I'm going with that.
Are you busy or are you,
Are you
really busy?
Or are you really busy? and there's I would use that as a proof point of, here's something that potentially goes on the president's desk. And in 3 years, 3.5 actually, I went in to oversee the work one time, and it was extremely serious. In
Yep.
3.5 years, I had counterparts, other department heads, who were in weekly, every couple of weeks.
Yep.
But it was about entrusting and empowering
Yep.
versus, yeah. But
Well, that's a humility thing too.
it is.
Is let your people do their jobs.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
that's a team building thing, which is inherently a tribe thing.
It is.
Is let your people do their jobs. If they need improvement, improve them. That's
And here is a great thing why you talk about improving. Improving somebody's deficiencies is not always the best thing to do. Sometimes it's a deficiency because they hate doing it.
Yep.
So I've found in my life, my careers, I develop people's passions
Yep.
because I can get more out of them if it's something they're passionate about than forcing them to get better at something they hate doing.
I just talked about that the other morning.
Did you really?
I literally just talked about that in a tribe building video about how I'm a person that if you hate making Microsoft Excel spreadsheets, don't spend 4 years getting good at making Microsoft Excel spreadsheets. Find somebody that loves Microsoft Excel, like our office manager or STEM degree over here. All right?
I
Find
didn't
somebody.
say I like it.
Shut up. You
I
love
just
it.
can do
Shut
it.
up. You love it. He loves it. He's like, "Oh, don't worry. I'll make an Excel spreadsheet. I got it." All the time. It's like, we're just trying to cut wood. He's like, "Oh, I'll make an Excel spreadsheet." But if you hate...
Out of wood.
Out of wood, yeah. So, what do they call those? An abacus? Remember those, the adding things? Oh, this is an ancient Chinese Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. Oh, you owe me $42.52. So, we can laugh all we want. They've been here 4 millennia longer than we have. So, if you hate Microsoft Excel, maybe the best approach is not dedicate years of your life to getting better at Microsoft Excel. Find something you love to do and do that, and then hire the person who loves Microsoft Excel. Because when people are dispassionate about things, it's almost sabotage.
Yeah.
You know? It's almost sabotage. They hate it so much that whether they want to or not, they're just throwing wrenches into the works all the time.
And if you own your own business, man, the E-Myth, I think it's called E-Myth.
Yeah. E-Myth Revisited. Great book.
You know, and the bottom line is, are you a job owner or are you a business owner?
Yep.
And most businesses that start up, you take on all these tasks, and most of the time they're things you don't like to do, and don't do them.
Yeah.
You get somebody to do it.
You know, there's a lot of things that can be said about church, but one of the things that I think is I've always enjoyed about church is, you know what we need? We need a bake sale. Great. You're in charge of that.
You know what we need? More cowbell.
We need more. Boop, boop, boop. Well, I liked drumming at church too. That was cool.
That was cool.
But I did like I did like that. Well, what we really need is a children's ministry. Good. You're in charge of the children's ministry. Because you do that often enough and loudly enough, eventually people go, do we really need this?
Yeah.
And if so, do I want to head this up? Because people, you know, there's nice to haves and must haves, right? We talk about that at work too. Yeah, we talk about that at work all the time. What do you have to have?
Yep.
And what would you like to have? So
That's what I say all the time, right?
yeah,
Give me 2 lists.
2 lists.
Have to have.
Nice
must
to have.
Nice
Yep.
to have.
Yep.
Sorry.
You should be sorry.
I know.
I'm offended.
You should be
I am.
colorblind.
Shut up. You're evil. This is a great video. I don't even know. The internet peeps are probably like, our viewership is 6.41 minutes. And you've exceeded that by 50 minutes.
Yeah, we were a little long on this one, but
that's okay.
I think that you will. I think it'll be a worthy listen, because I think there's
Podcast.
I think
Podcast.
I think there are some truths in it that we sometimes shelter ourselves from, because it's more convenient to not think about these things than it is to self-examine yourself.
Yeah.
Then,
Engage in self-examination.
engage in self-examination, and then exploit it. Then it's just, I mean, it's convenient to not have to look at things that maybe you need to improve upon.
Yeah.
You know, hey, and I mean, I want to say, like, I love it for TJ, you know, Pastor Joe passing the compliments that he had for the things that TJ had been doing. Amazing. I mean, I didn't know he existed. I started listening to him, at least what's available, after, and I think he's incredible. And, you know, I think we're trying to get the same information out. You know, him and I.
We didn't need those.
Have that removed.
Don't need that either.
I think, you know, TJ and I, and it's mostly TJ, but I've always been real shy, and that's not the right word, of doing anything on YouTube or videos.
Cautious.
Cautious.
Cautious is a good word.
And cautious because I think it goes back to the trigger that would set TJ off, which is my family.
Yep.
You know, and going back to an earlier video where we talked about why I live where I live. Yes, I'm outside of the city a good ways. I'm outside of the small town a good ways. But it's something I can mobilize. And, you know, the reason being I can't stay up 24 hours a day, 7
That's
days
right.
a week. And again, with a humble voice, I will say this. There's not much I can't do except for stay up.
Yep.
And I say that as humbly as possible because I have been fortunate that God took me on a path that got me into so many different things that I learned everything, mostly. I mean, you know it at work. Like, you ask me something, if I don't know, I'll go, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's probably one of the hardest things for anybody to say is, I don't know, right?
Well, I think that's the beauty of what happens here on this channel is that there's lots of places that are going to blow smoke at you and just come up with an answer for the sake of coming up with an answer rather than to say, I don't know. I don't know. Like, we're two guys on a patio in North Texas-ish, right? Like, we don't have all the answers, but we do have some of the answers.
Yep.
And I think that's where the value is. Everybody wants you to just get married to their channel and take what they have to say as gospel and nobody else's gospel. And that doesn't work, man. Because truth is independent of the source. Truth, you know, I'll give you a great example. Let's get biblical again. Moshe, right? Moses writes the first 5 books of the Bible. They all point to the New Testament. The New Testament all points to the Old Testament, right? All the minor prophets point to the New Testament. All the New Testament points to the Old Testament and the minor prophets, right? It's just back and forth, right? It's a cyclical, right? So, you know, love your neighbor as yourself, right? And you're getting back to the Pastor Joe thing, right? Well, oh yeah, that's that's in Matthew. Yeah, it's actually in Deuteronomy, right? So, truth is independent of the source. But when multiple sources all tell you the same thing, right? You know this is basic intelligence, right? You got 3 or more people all clamoring about the same thing. There's probably something to that. So, here, this is not an egotistical channel. It's not, I said in a video this past weekend, it's not just about me. It's not just about Squid. It's not just about y'all.
And we're going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And glad for you guys to point them out.
Right. Call me on it.
Yeah. And you know what?
And they have.
Cool.
We have, yeah.
Like, cool. Like, it's not going to offend either one of us.
I'm offended.
Well, you're naturally offended.
Shh.
I was just looking at the peach tree, thinking how much fuel.
You should go tuck your kids in before Mrs. Squid smacks you with that
we're
water
gonna
bottle.
produce this summer.
Should we turn Mrs. Squid into a contraction? Like Miss Squid?
Let's not get Miss Squid to start contractions.
Oh, that's a good point.
Not yet.
I meant like verbally.
Not
But
yet.
not yet. Good point. Good point. You're not on camera. Don't worry. You're just over there.
We're giving them a long one tonight.
We are. I'm not going to say that on camera. We are not giving you a long one with the ball hanger.
Nor ask for us to. Because that would just not be
That
right.
would be weird.
We're both married.
I retract my email statement. Don't email me. The looks that we get from your wife are incredible.
This is the looks I get every day.
We just got a message popped up on the screen that the Revolting Man is trying to talk to us on YouTube.
Really?
That's pretty cool.
Oh, that is cool.
That's pretty cool.
Oh,
Yeah. We're like almost people
no.
on YouTube. Nah.
Meh.
Oh, you asked about the Tactical Muppet Face.
Yes.
Let's wrap this up with
Okay.
Tactical Muppet Face.
Tactical Muppet
Okay,
Face.
so here's how Tactical Muppet Face works. Are you ready, Miss Squid? Okay. So
Because
Tactical...
we have to make that really crappy shirt next.
It's coming.
I know.
It's coming. Yeah.
Well, the
that's-
ooh-law.
Ooh-low! Ooh-low!
Ooh-law.
Official organization of operators operating like an operator. Ooh-low! Don't look at me like that. All right. Tactical Muppet Face is this.
1,300 people
1,340 something people. Hi. Okay.
listen to our dumbasses.
Yeah, it's true. Look, we can talk passionately about being in line as much as possible with Father God and say the word dumbass in the same video because that's us. That's what we do. Now,
There's no other reason that he put us two together.
there's literally no other reason other than to reach these people about these things. So, hey. All right, tactical Muppet face. Are you ready? Don't have water in your mouth. Okay.
Don't have wine in my mouth.
Don't have wine in your mouth either. Tactical Muppet face is this. So most like tactical instructors make the sour face like this because they want you to think I'm super badass, right? So tactical Muppet face is this. You have to do that. Can you do it? Can you try? Yeah, that's pretty good.
So you need a shirt that moves.
Not yet. Not a shirt that moves. Just a shirt that has this face and this face. Yeah, just like that. With like a line drawing. If anybody out there is a graphic designer, please let us know. We're terrible at this.
I'm not even going to tell the graphic designer I know about.
Please tell the graphic designer you know about this.
Hey, I know her too, so I can
Tell her. Let her know. So tactical Muppet face is just... And it's just kind of a middle finger to the tactical community that's cool, dude.
Well, you know what I love? I love about Instructor Zero.
What?
Like people think, oh, he was Special Forces. He came out in a video. Was like, oh, I've never been in the military.
Yeah.
I've never, like, you know, he didn't need to hang on to that laurel.
Right.
Like, you know, it was good enough. That's like what we talked about, the whole stolen valor thing. Like, I don't know. I've ran into more Navy SEALs in Texas than I think I've
That's
ever
no
ran
lie,
into
right?
in active duty, right?
Yep.
And
Spaceship door gunners everywhere.
Everywhere.
Man. Everywhere.
and it's like, you know, and I sit there and I'm like, be okay with, I was a A6 mechanic, or I was
Right.
an F-18
Yeah.
mechanic, or
Drive the
I
truck,
was a
dude.
boatsman.
Right.
Dude, you served. Like, thank you.
Right.
I don't care what you did.
Yep.
Like, it doesn't matter. You don't have to be that. I mean, I ran into this guy, and I worked at Special Warfare Command at one point in my career, and I'm on the square, Friday night farmer's market, and I got a Murph shirt on, and this dude stops and starts talking to me about, oh, I was in the Navy, and I was like, oh, really? You know, most of my time I did, you know, intel work. He's like, oh, I was a UDT. And right there, I'm just
Right.
going,
Were you,
are
dude?
fucking kidding me? Like, seriously? Like, do you understand? Like, and I'm like, do you realize that right now, one of my best friends is the first phase BUDS officer in charge?
Yep.
Like, I could make a phone call right now
Right.
and literally out you. And, like, sticking to his guns about, and I'm just like, wow.
Yep.
Be okay.
Yep.
And that goes to humility again.
Yeah.
Like, be okay with what you did.
Yeah.
I love the fact that I did technical collection stuff. I did human. I did PSYOP. I mean, that's good enough.
Right.
Like, I spent my time doing it. Like, I'm okay with that. And I don't care what anybody else thinks.
Yeah.
Like, and if you were a yeoman,
Right. Own it.
own it.
Own it.
Like,
I
dude,
was a Chief Warrant Officer 5.
yeah,
I mean,
I-
yeoman.
yeah. like, dude, if you were a yeoman, be like, man, you should see the heavy macros I lay down on Excel. Like, totally throw it out there. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
We're
we
getting
got
a wrap up
We
from
got
the-
We're getting a shh. Miss Squid is like, y'all are cool, but you ain't cool enough to keep sitting on my patio.
There was no cool in that statement whatsoever.
We're not cool.
It's, you're morons. Like, be
It's
done.
true. The judgment is heavy. I feel it. I feel it.
I still feed you.
You did feed me.
Yes.
You fed me several times, and I deeply appreciate it. But you're way more pregnant than I am, so I will leave. Plus, you live here.
She's not saying leave. She's
Okay,
saying
wait,
she's
wait,
saying
wait, wrap it up.
stop penalizing all these people.
Yeah, we're an hour deep. Maybe we should let them go.
Yeah, we should.
They're like, we stopped listening 55 minutes ago. Dude.
It's been on for an hour?
Yeah, we're that good.
These
We're-
poor people.
They like, we ask
This-
nothing of them.
This is a powerful,
Yeah. We ask.
life-changing video
Yeah,
that we
there's.
just made.
This is true. We're saving lives out here.
Groovy buttons.
Yeah.
Pete the cat is a wise cat.
He is a wise cat, indeed.
I'm telling you, Get the series of Pete the Cats.
They're
for your
good.
kids.
They're good.
Not
You will
all
learn.
of them.
Huh?
The one that has that author.
Yeah.
Yes, the author that.
Well, that's a red skateboard
Okay.
with your hand over the top of it. So
Author that.
that author. Also, Yertle the Turtle by Dr. Seuss. If you want your kids to understand what tyranny is, read Yertle the Turtle. For real. Miss Squid is like, get off of my patio. Tactical Muppet face. All right, say bye, Squid.
Bye, Squid.
Bye.